the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on this Friday. Again, we're starting a little bit late on Friday, but who cares, right? It's Friday. We had a little business to take care of. Faith, you got to handle business before you can get on here and have fun, right?
No doubt about it. Business comes first, doesn't it?
No doubt. Unfortunately, it's like, how many hours are in a day again? I feel like I spend 28 hours a day on business. But anyway, that's great. Welcome in, everybody, to this Friday edition, and you and I got double duty today. We'll be on here. It'll be an abbreviated podcast this morning because we'll be heading to Bunkers here in just a few hours, and we'll be doing the show from there. And, Jerron, TGIF, and more down to you too. Big weekend for the Auburn Tigers. We've got Alabama coming in tomorrow. That's what we're going to talk about here this morning. Looking forward to having Jason Caldwell with us over at Bunkers today, and just talked to him this morning. Excited to have him, basically part of our group. Is, he does such a great job with Auburn Undercover, and that whole group. Christian, love those guys. They do a great job. They're the ones that we pretty much follow and partner with, and then they just do a phenomenal job of covering content. But Faith, we got a big basketball game tomorrow. I think it's senior night. Well, it'd be senior afternoon, but senior night. When we're excited about it. Final game of the regular season. Crimson Tide rolling in to Neville Arena.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm going to be on the road during the game, but I'm not driving, so I'm going to have my computer up and I'm going to be watching the whole game.
If y'all haven't noticed, she's the world traveler, by the way. So
I don't normally travel like this, but recently I have. So, but yeah, I'll be watching the game. Wish I was there. Wish I was going to the game. I did tell everybody the prices the other day, and right now that's not in my budget. Maybe next year, we'll see. But yeah, the game is going to be.
It's going to be lit.
If y'all haven't seen the pictures or the videos of people camping out right now, it started Wednesday. I'm glad I still don't live over there, because I would probably freak out if I lived over there. I'd be so annoyed in those dorms.
A little bit of noise going on over there.
Oh my gosh. But that's so fun though. I mean, if I could go back and do it as a freshman or sophomore, I would.
Of course. Yeah, you would. You would.
Oh yeah.
Since you're so old now. So there's a lot of things I want to talk about this morning. I want to dive in first. All right, I think we're a little concerned. Maybe some of it's warranted, some of it's not. But you look at Auburn's only lost 3 times this year. So how does Auburn respond after a loss? We just lost to Texas A&M, but there were a lot of circumstances that kind of dictated that loss. Number one, it's not a good matchup. It hasn't historically been a good matchup for Bruce Pearl-led teams. We had won the SEC championship on Saturday, so there was a hangover, literally, I think, a hangover going in on a quick turnaround from a Saturday to a Tuesday. And, then it's sandwiched in between, that Kentucky game and this Alabama game on Saturday. So it was, I'm not trying to make excuses, but that's the last taste we have in our mouth about Auburn basketball. Now, you don't want to have that carry over into the way you play Saturday against Alabama. I don't think it will. It's a special day. The game tips at 1:30, but it's senior day. This is a huge group of seniors. It's a special group. I think, when you look at it from a standpoint, we've never seen a senior group like this before. And so it's going to be special in that regard. And then you add your arch rival in to the mix, Faith. I don't think you're going to have to worry about the intensity or the energy of this team on Saturday?
Oh, I mean, like we were talking about the hangover, whatever. But if you think about it, they had Sunday to recover, and then they hopped on a plane on Monday to fly out
Right.
to College Station. Quick turnaround for them, obviously tired and everything like that. But we do have, I guess, technically one extra day of recovery because we played on Tuesday and they played on Wednesday. Um,
And they lost too, by the way. So
they did.
in case everybody didn't know that.
So let's kind of even out that playing field. But honestly, you're going to have to put it behind you as a team.
Right.
For Auburn, put it behind that they lost, you lost, and then move forward into, looking at the team that we're about to have to play. Like even though they just lost, they still put up a number of points, and how are we going to be able to recover with, we obviously didn't have Denver Jones.
Right.
But we haven't really had Janai either with his performance.
Not in the last week.
So, yeah. So, I mean, what are we going to do as a team? How are we going to come back from this? Yeah, I don't doubt that the energy in there is going to be subpar. I think it is going to be actually the arena is going to be moving, and it has to be. But again, the performance is going to contribute to
Oh,
the
yeah.
energy.
All right, let's look back. Auburn won the Maui Invitational. They had to come back on December the 4th and play Duke in Duke. Okay. They lost 84-78. They had a guy go off for 18 in the first half, really kind of was the difference. How did Auburn respond to that? They came back 4 days later and blew out Richmond, 98-54, put 91 up against Ohio State. A couple of games later, they blew out Purdue in Birmingham. I think maybe that Purdue game was one of the best games Auburn's played all year. I mean, the Ohio State game was pretty damn dominant too, 91-53. But Auburn recovered, right? They rebounded. They did fine. And then if you fast forward to the next loss on February the 8th, Auburn lost to Florida 90-81. How did they respond? They came back, went on the road to a very difficult place to play at Vanderbilt, 180-68. And then they had Alabama. And they went to Tuscaloosa, and that was a 1 versus 2 matchup. And we know how well Auburn played in Tuscaloosa, really from the get-go, from the start. Came out hot, played well, won the game convincingly, 94-85. Fast forward to the only other loss for Auburn this year, Texas A&M, to lose 83-72. They only have one game left, and that's with Alabama tomorrow. So how will they respond? They've responded well so far this year. I expect them to respond well tomorrow.
I mean, I'm with you there. I don't think they're like Bruce has said, Neville Arena can really contribute in the confidence of the players, but it also can make them overly confident and something like that. I think I said this before the first game at Coleman Coliseum, but our shots are just going to have to be so smart and so, we're going to have to take a lot of them, but they have to be smart. They have to just not be throwing the ball up, and our passes can't be lazy. Because if they are, they're going to get in there and we're going to turn the ball over. They're going to see it go down, and they're going to score, and it's going to be fast points like that.
We took care of the ball really well in Tuscaloosa. We shot the ball from outside really well. They didn't. They only made 5 threes. That's not gonna happen again. Now I hope it does. Look, we'll come on here and we'll say, okay, we'll take being wrong there. Hey, there's sometimes I'm okay with being wrong, right? And
but I don't think this time they're going to be only making 5.
I hope they do only make. I hope they only make 4. But it'll probably be more around 7, 8, 9. I hope it's not into 10, 11, 12, 13. That's when Alabama gets really dangerous. All right, I want to shift over because we're not going to stay on long this morning because we're going to be at Bunkers today. We got a lot going on. I do want to talk about a couple of things. Number one, what are the concerns for Auburn going into the postseason? All right, if you just had to tell me one thing off the top of your head, I didn't prep you on this, by the way, so this is off the cuff. So, guys, this wasn't orchestrated, so I'm throwing a curve at Faith. I like to do that every once in a while, see if she can hit a curveball. What's your number one concern going into the postseason for Auburn?
Maintaining good health within the players.
Being as healthy as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I hope Denver is going to be just fine. You know, he had a bone bruise, but obviously he wasn't well enough to play against Texas A&M. Chad, I feel like always is getting banged up. Janai, his shoulder gets banged up or something like that.
Right.
But that's going to be, I mean, we're going to have to take care of the injuries, and that can't be anything that slows anybody down.
You know, I think Chad Baker-Mazara has learned to play through a lot of pain.
Oh, I think
that guy he's a gamer. Like, I'm not dissing on Denver Jones is tough as nails too. For him not to play, man, that his
but that's I think it was smart. They didn't need to play him.
No,
he can lose that game. He needs to be back on Saturday.
But I'm gonna sound a little bit derogatory toward Janai. I'm not diminishing his ankle situation, but in the shoulder, but it is, and I know he plays through a lot of stuff, but it just seems like there's something all the time. And again, he's playing a position you're gonna get beat up. I mean, and teams know they can be physical, and officials kind of let unduly guys get away with contact that maybe shouldn't against him. Get a little helicopter shake there from Lacey for everybody to hear.
Good morning.
She just wants to be on the show today. So
scratch.
Do a little scratch there. But those guys are playing through a lot of pain. And but Chad Baker here recently, I'm proud of him. He's a gamer. I like his demeanor. He seems to be handling, situations a lot better from a mental standpoint. So that's huge. I think that could be a major asset. And I think he is thinking about going into postseason and what happened last year. He doesn't want that to happen again. So that leads me to this. All right. So Bruce Pearl's made it a pretty regular deal to go to the NCAA tournament, which that's awesome. But what is concerning and what I don't want to happen to this team is for the pressure of what's happened over the last 5 tournament trips to go down. I want to roll this out for you. So Auburn's been 5 times to the NCAA tournament since the 17-18 season. 1 time we've made it out of the first or second weekend. I mean, out of the first weekend. 1 time, and that was the Final Four. So 1 time we've made it out of the first weekend out of 5 trips. So you want to go back to the 17-18 season? We lost in the second round to Clemson, 84-53 is a blowout. Wasn't close. The next year we go to the Final Four. We know how that ended. We're Virginia. But you remember what happened in the first round of that year? We beat New Mexico State 78-77. They had a 3-point shot to win the game. Like, if that goes in, we're out in the first round again. We're not talking about a Final Four team. So, all right, but we dodged that and we moved on. 21-22 season, went out in the second round to Miami, 79-61, got blown out. That was Jabari Smith. That was Walker Kessler. That was a very good basketball team that got hammered by a good Miami team, but we were not competitive in that game, and we were behind pretty much the whole time. The 22-23 season, you beat Purdue in the first round. I was there at that game. I mean, Iowa. You beat Iowa in the first round, and then you play Houston, and you beat 81-64. Now, they were the number 1 seed in that region. We were an 8 seed, but guess what? They ended up beating us pretty handily, 81-64. And then last year, we know what happened. Go out in the first freaking round to Yale, 78-76. And so we've got a bad history here. And again, I don't want to bring up negative stuff, but there's pressure on this team They're hanging an SEC. We won a lot of SEC championships in those years too, regular season and tournament championships. But we're not getting it done when we get to the NCAA tournament, and the proof's right there. I mean, when you look at it on paper, it doesn't look very good. And so, yes, what are our records during all those years? Really good. Won a lot of basketball games. You know, you go back and you can reel off all the different years that Auburn's played, and you look at these records. Last year, we were 27-8. In the 22-23 season, we were 21-13. We were 28-6 in that 21-22 year that we lost in the second round. We were number one in the country, if you'll remember that. COVID year, one year that we had stolen away from us was the 19-20 year. We were 25-6, and we were hitting our peak. That was Isaac Okoro and all those guys. So that's a year that we'll never get back. And I think we were one of the best teams in the country at that time. But the 17-18 year, we were 26-8. In 18-19, we were 30-10. So, you know, it's one of those situations where we put the wins up. We've had good seasons, but we've petered out in the NCAA tournament, Faith. And so there's some pressure here on this team to not only finish tomorrow. You don't want to have a 2-game losing streak. We haven't had a losing streak all year. So there's pressure tomorrow to win the game against your arch rival on senior night. Then you're going into the SEC tournament as the number 1 overall seed. So don't really care how that goes, but you don't want it to kind of get you out of your psyche. But then the NCAA tournament, and you're going to be in the South. I mean, you gotta show some progress here. I mean, I think anything less than a trip to the Sweet 16 is a massive disappointment for this team.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that. Now, okay, Brett, do you think we're going to make it past the Sweet 16?
I'm going to say it's 50-50 right now. I'm going to say that we make it out of the first weekend, and then we get to Atlanta, and I don't know. We looked at Katz's bracket the other day, and if it were to hold, we would play that Clemson team in the Sweet 16. And, again, their proximity to Atlanta, our proximity to Atlanta, I think they'll have a good number of fans. Now, I think we'll dominate fan-wise in Atlanta, but Clemson's a good basketball team.
They're going to be right there too.
Well, they beat Duke. I mean, the week that we lost to Florida, they beat Duke. It's what allowed us to stay number 1. And so, and then I think, what did we say? Either St. John's or Michigan State in the Elite 8. Mm-hmm. I mean, Rick Pitino, now they haven't played near the competition, okay? Let's just be honest about it. But they're a good basketball team, and they're led by Rick Pitino. And so you don't sleep on a guy like him. So that's a tough matchup. So, yeah, I mean,
think it's also going to be hard to adapt to some of the, like, I know I don't feel like I always bring this up, but like some of the ref changes, because there's going to be refs from all different conferences, and it has looked like there's no kind of fine line or anything like that. And SEC refs have been more harder, stricter. They call, I feel like some.
I think they let it. I think it's opposite. I think they let play.
Yeah,
be more physical.
like, yeah. Well, okay, yes, they're more physical.
I think that's what you were trying to say.
Yeah, there's going to be more calls in
the tournament.
The tournament, yes.
More ticky-tack foul calls.
Yes, and I feel like that's going to be really hard for us to adapt to as well.
Again, part of it. I mean, I'm not using excuses. I'm not trying to be.
No, I'm not saying that either, but that also is going to affect the way that they play defense.
No doubt.
That's going to affect the way, because Chaney Johnson, he's already 3 or 4 fouls each game.
Even in a physical league, he's in foul trouble. So, yeah, I mean, you get in a ticky-tack foul type situation, he could go out way early. But, again, he's got to learn. Players have to adapt to officials. And
we've said, it's like the first 5 minutes where it's like you kind of feel out the refs, you see what they're kind of calling, stuff like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like that's also going to play a part in, because we've been playing more physical, harder games.
I agree. Look, not trying to bring up old stuff and negative stuff, but We've had great seasons. We've hung a lot of banners. SEC wise, we outside of the Final Four year, the resume doesn't look really pretty. A first or second round exit every other year. Got to get out of the first weekend, man. Want to see what this team's potential is. I think this team can win a national championship. Obviously, I think they're the best team overall in college basketball. Are they playing the best right now? I'm not sure. We'll see. That Saturday really starts postseason play. You better be in gear. You better be in the one and done mindset on Saturday. You better be playing with reckless abandonment and there is no tomorrow. And yes, we've done a lot of historic things this year, but that's all going to be for naught if we go out early in the NCAA tournament. So I think this team has shown a lot of moxie and a lot of perseverance in certain situations. The plane incident to going to Duke and then rebounding from that and then losing to Florida and then coming back that week and having to go on the road to Vanderbilt and then play Alabama and win. I think this team has shown they rise to the occasion. So I hope that's going to be the theme rather than what we've seen the last 4 trips or 5 trips to the NCAA tournament, save the Final Four year, which, again, I want to remind everybody, was a 1-point game to New Mexico State in the first round. All right, so it wasn't like it was some kind of dadgum, no, we dominated Kansas and North Carolina and beat Kentucky to get to the Final Four, which was an unbelievable run of Blue Bloods that you had to go through, but we almost didn't get there.
Right.
So what kind of conversation would we be having right now had Auburn lost in the first round? That would be 5 trips to the tournament with 5 first or second round exits. So need to get to the Sweet 16. And then when you get to the Sweet 16, everybody's good. Everybody's playing good, and it's just going to be who happens to play the best that night and who makes the least amount of mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
But Auburn's so much better than everybody else in the first and second rounds. They ought to win and ought to take care of business.
Yeah, and we've said also that anything can happen in basketball. We've watched it
Right
all season. But I think I said this earlier, but if there's going to be a team, this is the team.
I agree.
And
you don't get very many situations where you have this many seniors, and
there's been a lot of perseverance throughout the team, and they've faced a lot of they've had to adapt to a lot of things, and
right.
So again, if there's a team, this is the team. And
so they just got to play like they've played 99% of the time this year.
Oh, we got to get through tomorrow.
Get through tomorrow, no doubt about it. So, that's kind of one of those things that, again, you end with your arch rival. We'll talk more about Alabama at Bunkers today. So, again, I want to thank everybody that joins us every single day here on the Auburn Blitz podcast. I want to thank our partners here, Sensa Green, for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensa Green, the carrier experts here in the state of Alabama. Proud supporters of Auburn Athletics and the Auburn Blitz podcast, saving you thousands of dollars on new installation. So call on Sensa Green. They'll take care of you. Scout Program Management, full service construction management firm specializing in educational projects, new school builds, renovations, those type things. They're located in Birmingham. They'll come and they'll take care of you wherever you are. Obviously, we'll be at Bunkers, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on Bunkers. We'll be over there in a few hours. Looking forward to that. Great food, great environment. Come out and hang out with us. We'd love to see you. Sure Shot here in Alexander City is where I go for all of my outdoor needs. Turkey season's right around the corner. They have all types of firearms, whether it be shotguns, rifles, handguns, all the apparel for all you hunters out there. It doesn't matter whether you're deer hunter, turkey hunter. I know deer season's over, but they've got sales on items there, clearance. You get some good deals on some stuff, and then all the new turkey gear coming in. So make sure you go and check that out. And then Oliver Ross is an awesome bartending service, fully licensed, fully trained bartenders have come out to serve your patrons at a party of 50 all the way up to 5,000. Doesn't matter what size event it is, but you want professionals to come in and handle your stuff. So make sure you call on Oliver Ross, and we're glad to have all of them part of what we do here on the Auburn Blitz podcast. Yep, John, squirrel hunting too. They've got camo for you if you want to go squirrel hunting. Little squirrel dumplings there for you, John. Auburn parts ways with Johnny Harris. We didn't talk about that. We'll talk more about that at lunch today. Hate it for her. Very nice lady. Got a chance to spend some time with her several times over the last couple of years. John Cohen issued a statement, said, look, he's worked with her for well over a decade at 2 different places at Mississippi State and at Auburn. And it's nothing personal, really loves Johnny Harris, but felt like we needed to move in a different direction with our program. Took a step back this year, went to the NCAA tournament last year, and looked like things were kind of going in the right direction. But, this year didn't work out for whatever reason. Outside of Deanna Gaston, we just nobody, just non-existent. So not very competitive, had a lead in a lot of games and couldn't hang on. So wasn't that we were just getting blown out. It was just couldn't find a way to finish and win. And maybe
they faced a lot of injuries too.
Yep, they did. So again, it's not all one person's fault, but if it's inevitable, then it needs to be immediate. And I kind of always say that. And so that's what happened, and they move on. And I just got a confirmation from my man Malcolm Simmons that he will be there with us at noon. So I'm excited about that. Glad to see he is up and moving around. So we'll have Malcolm Simmons with us at lunch today, and Malcolm likes to eat too, so he knows I'm going to take care of him there. And then Jason Caldwell. So Faith, we got a full show. We got an action-packed show ahead of us, and man, it's Friday, but it feels like Monday. So, but you're getting ready to go on another trip. So you just the radio. Look, I look like I'm gray, and it's like I've got everything's kind of drab over here, and then just the radiation coming off of Faith's hair and her smile, and it's like the sun over here, and it's like darkness over here with me. So it's kind of been the mindset this morning too. But happy Friday. Yeah, lunch will be at Bunkers, John, if you want to come down and see us for sure. But yeah, the radiant Faith over here, just exuding all the sun and shine. She's getting excited. She knows that she's going south for the winter.
And I get to go to Bunkers.
Get to go to Bunkers. Like, you just gotta. Who doesn't want to be Faith right now?
I'm so excited. Yeah, Justin's right. You were just at the beach.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring.
I wasn't.
I wasn't gonna bring that up. Well, God forbid, I one up Faith, Justin. I go to the beach, and then she goes to Turks and Caicos. That'll be what happens. Rebel Hell said that we'll be at 5,000 subscribers if Faith keeps flipping her hair the way she's flipping it. The hair's on point, Faith. I have to give you credit. I gave you credit. She got a little hairdo the other day, guys. So she's proud of that. Her hat game and her hair game is on point. So
they have to.
You just get what you get over here with me. I kind of like my short hairdo though. My hair's still hanging. My hair's still hanging in there. I'm not losing my hair. And if I grew it out, I'd look like I went back to the 70s with an afro. So ain't nobody want to look at that either. So
it happens.
It does happen. So look at all the comments, just making you smile. So
I know it's a great day. It's the best day ever. A new game I've been playing every single day where I wake up and I say, I'm going to have the best day ever. And so I have to do something to make it the best day ever. And so
best day ever.
Changed my mindset. It's the best day ever game. Everybody should play it. Makes you in a great mood. It's the best day ever.
Sounds like a good one to me.
Yeah. Steak sliders.
I wake up with that attitude every morning until the first phone call, Faith, and then it just goes to shit. Excuse
You
my
got to
language.
turn it into the best day ever.
Yeah. I'll let you field some of my phone calls.
Ooh.
I'll let you and then I'll ask you at the end of the day if it's the best day ever. Justin's probably crying laughing because he knows
Just got some serious phone calls.
Smidget of some. You got to hear one just a minute ago.
I did.
So anyway, hey, somebody's got to run things, right? Somebody's got to run things.
Richard is the one to do.
Somebody's got to run things, and somebody's got to turn old and gray. So I'll do that while you radiate all the sun over there and have top-notch hair game and hat game. So, all right. So I'm gonna bring some of these with me today. So we'll give those out. Hey, by the way, little shout out to us from Coach Kleinard at the tournament yesterday, wearing the Auburn Blitz hat all day at the tournament. So I'm excited about that. He said he's going to shoot me a picture. And congratulations, they're back to number 1 in the country where they belong.
Yep.
So
he's awesome.
We got all kind of stuff to talk about, man. We just can't get to all of it. So hey, yeah, we thank all of you so much. Again, our subscribers are rocking it up. And again, if you want to come see us at lunch at Bunkers, we'd love to see you as well. And Malcolm Simmons, the freshman phenom from last year, will be with us and talk a little bit about heading into the season and spring football right around the corner and kind of what his thoughts are and, get his take on the addition of Eric Singleton, Horatio Fields, some of those guys that have joined the team, and along with that star-studded wide receiver core that we had last year, that will be again, one of the best I think we've ever signed in school history. So, as Donald Trump would say, like we've never seen before. We've never seen anything like this before in our life. So
that was good with the hands too.
Yeah, I try to do that. So. Faith needs to teach Jim how to smile. Now, look, Jim ain't gonna smile, Faith. John. Jim is very stoic and businesslike on the show at noon. So you get what you get. We can't all have a radiant smile and glowing locks like Faith. So all right, God made us all different for a reason, right? All right, we're gonna get out on that note, and we're gonna get ready to go to Bunkers at noon again. Want to thank them. My good buddy Alan over there is, can't say enough about that whole group over there. Enjoyed meeting the other guys, but that place is just so daggum cool. We get excited about going over there. So we're going to do it podcast style like this. So it'll be different. We've never done that before. And so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. A neat little spin on the Noon Show Done podcast style. We'll have Malcolm Simmons and Jason Caldwell, and Faith will head up the Malcolm interview, and I'll head up the Jason interview, and then we'll close it out. But come see us at Bunkers. We're going to get out of here. Hope everybody has a wonderful Friday. Have that bright, big smile like Faith. Everybody play the best day ever game.
Best day ever.
Best day ever game. I'm going to try my best to do it. I'm going to start over when we get out of here. I'm just going to say everything that happened to this point, I'm starting over. And then we'll see you at Bunkers at noon, everybody. War Eagle.
War Eagle.